of Trustees of the Harris County Department of Education is now convened in a regular board meeting on Wednesday, December 18th, 2024, in room 401 at 6300 Irvington Boulevard, Houston, Texas, at 1:01 p.m. We wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present at this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and set policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of this department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by section 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking time today to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. Hello, everyone. We will begin today with invocation by bless you. Janice Owalabi.
Let us pause for a moment of reflection. May we gather with hearts full of serenity, finding peace in the work we do for children, educators, and families we serve. Grant us the courage to face complex challenges with confidence, to make decisions that are both bold and compassionate, and to always act with integrity. May we be guided by wisdom so that each choice we make is thoughtful, just, and in the best interest of all those entrusted to our care. As we come together, may our hearts and minds be open and our actions be grounded in service and collaboration. Amen.
And then next we have Pledge of Allegiance, Jasmine Streeter.
Yes. Hi, how are you? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. We do not have anyone for open forum, so we will move on to reports and presentations. Employee of the month, Dr. Sylvester.
Madam President, Board of Trustees, Mr. Colbert. Today, we are honoring Bernice Valenzuela, a longtime manager in our school-based therapy services division, as our December 2024 Employee of the Month. Carrie Crabb, Senior Director of School-Based Therapy Services, said, Bernice is an outstanding ambassador for therapy and HCDE. She is often the first face and voice a potential therapist will encounter when exploring employment options within our organization. Not only does Bernice help candidates with the process as well as answer any questions, she maintains these relationships over time, sometimes even years, until a candidate joins the HCDE family. New recruits often mention how memorable their interactions with Bernice were, recalling the time and care she took to explain school-based practice and what the job entails, Ms. Crabb wrote in her nomination. Bernice's people-first approach ensures that candidates trust her completely, knowing that she genuinely wants them to find the job that is right for them. Ms. Crabb said this type of dedication shows through in all Bernice does. During the recent Hurricane Beryl closure, in which power was down throughout the city, Bernice drove to McDonald's to access Wi-Fi so she could reassure candidates and reschedule any interviews while checking on their well-being in the aftermath of the storm. This type of commitment, coupled with her kind and loving approach, exemplifies what sets Bernice apart in her work. In addition, Bernice is dedicated to her role within HCDE, as well as the success of her colleagues and the therapy program. She is quick to praise the contributions of others while minimizing her own work and commitment. Bernice represents the heart of the therapy division, Ms. Crabb said. She consistently puts others first, demonstrating remarkable empathy and professionalism. Our comms teams created a short video about Bernice and her impact within HCDE.
My name is Bernice, and I am a manager with school-based therapy services here at Harris County Department of Ed.
I met Bernice when I joined the management team in 2004. She had already been here, and she definitely was my mentor and my rock. One of her big jobs that she does, and that she does so well, is she is our manager that is over recruitment and hiring. She's our kind of liaison with human resources. Almost all of our new people, probably going back at least 15 years that she's been in this role, every one of the new people know Bernice. And when they come on board and we have our new employee orientation, they have to meet Bernice because they have already formed that relationship with her before they have set foot in our door. So.
I love being able to make connections with people. Harris County Department of Ed provides services to many districts. I remember when I left the field of working directly with students, because I'm now a manager, I wrote a letter to the parents of all the children that had touched me especially late. And I just said, I want you to know that your child taught me more than I ever.
I met Bernice back in 2014. I was moving from Virginia to Texas, and I came in for an interview with Bernice, and she found out that I was traveling back to Llano, Texas. So she pulled up on the computer, looked at all the different routes, and told me, she was like, look, go this route because there's less traffic at this time, and then she asked me to call or text her once I got to my house, just to make sure that I was safe. I had never experienced that. I got home, I told my mom, I said, I had the best interview, and my mom said right then and there, this is the person you want to work for. When we had the hurricane and we didn't have any power, Bernice drove to a McDonald's so that she could get on the Wi-Fi, so that she could touch base with those prospective candidates and make sure they were okay and let them know that we were going to reschedule, just so that they weren't left hanging out there. And she genuinely also wanted to make sure that they were all okay, and she was checking on their well-being. So that's just Bernice.
I knew they lived in areas that had been hit especially hard, and I wanted to make sure they were okay. My mom was an amazing woman. I think the thing that I got from my mom, just in always watching her, she was always respectful of others, and my mom had a playfulness that was amazing.
I know that her mother was a very special person to her. That may be where she got that gift. I know her mother had a big heart. I would definitely describe Bernice as the heart of therapy services.
I am pleased to introduce to you the Heart of Therapy Services, Ms. Bernice Valenzuela, December 2024 Employee of the Month.
All right.
And she's out of here.
Now that we're wiping away our tears, happy tears. Okay, we'll move on to a superintendent monthly report.
Thank you. Just a few things I want to update the board on. Last week, we were able to have 2 retreats. We had a retreat with the Board of Trustees where we were able to review the legislative impact going into public education for this legislative session. We were able to update our board operating procedures and look at some of the new initiatives that we're working on. So I really appreciated that. 2 days later, I had the executive leadership team retreat at the same location where we spent, it felt like, 7 hours? We probably spent a good 6 hours and really just deeply reviewing every single program that we have with our organization and trying to assess its progress or what we need to do to continue moving in the right direction. The final thing that I'd like to say is I just want to say to the Board of Trustees and to all of the employees who work at HCDE how proud I am to serve as the superintendent of Harris County Department of Ed. I feel like I am a fortunate, blessed man to be able to work with people I love and be able to represent an organization that I care so much about. And that is my Christmas present for this year. With that, thank you.
Thank you. And we will go into our annual division update for our Center for Safe and Secure Schools.
This thing on? Okay. Good afternoon, Madam President and HOSA, Board of Trustees, Mr. Colbert, and HCDE leadership team. My name is Leslie Etheridge, and I will be reporting for the 2023-24 school year for the Center for Safe and Secure Schools. Before I begin, I would first like to introduce my dynamic team. As your name is called, please stand. Jeremy Foster, Janice Wallaby, Robert Marquez, Michelle Calhoun, Director Dr. Tiffany Cheney, and last but certainly not least, Gil Guyana, who cannot be here today. Thank you, team, for all that you do, and I appreciate you guys. You can be seated. The Center for Safe and Secure Schools was established in 1999 at the request of school superintendents to advance safe and secure environments for learning and teaching. The center is focused on prevention and driven by preparation, pursuing new and innovative opportunities to continue to build safer and more secure learning environments. Although efforts needed to keep schools safe are consistently evolving, one thing has remained the same: partnerships. The Center for Safe and Secure Schools is a leader in school safety, and our largest partnership is through our membership. Last year, we had 24 ISD members, 21 in-county and 3 out-of-county. Our district members are part of our Emergency Operations Board. We host quarterly Emergency Operation Board meetings. During these meetings, districts have the opportunity to discuss many of the challenges they face. This insightful information is one of the many tools the center utilizes to tailor our services to meet the needs of our district. It also helps us stay grounded in learning. These are some of the services we provide: behavioral threat assessments, reunification, fentanyl and vaping awareness, de-escalation, incident management training, averting targeted attacks, and of course, safety audits. The center recently received a grant to assist several school districts in operationalizing their mandated behavioral threat assessments. We offer a menu of services based on a series framework, which consists of safety, education, readiness, innovation, and effective solutions. In addition to our HCDE webpage, we have other various media platforms in which we provide information about safety. Our monthly safety and wellness tips, monthly podcasts, quarterly newsletters. We are in the process of restoring 2 of our social media platforms. Last year, data shows that we served 8,112 in-county educators and 55,234 indirect students. Aldine, Alief, and Humble are the districts where our service delivery numbers were the highest. Our services include a host of topics. The data also shows that 52% of our training topics are related to emergency management and 48% are related to climate and culture. The Center for Safe and Secure Schools has provided important and effective services, but we could not do it alone. We have collaborated with subject matter experts to render the best services possible. I Love You Guys are significant contributors of the standard response protocols as well as reunification trainings. Our partnerships with the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security allows us to receive alerts in reference to national information and threats which could possibly affect our local schools. Our partnership also expands to the Harris County Safe Schools Commission. The Harris County Safe Schools Commission was established in 2022 as an advisory board to assist the Harris County Commissioners Court on matters related to safety and wellness in K-12 schools across Harris County, with the Center for Safe and Secure Schools serving as an advisory for the committee. Earlier this year, the commission was reconvened, and it was recommended that the advisory committee become a standing board. I was asked to speak at the Commissioners Court to support the recommendation.
Next is Leslie Etheridge, speaking on item 22. You have 1 minute.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Leslie Etheridge, and I'm the Director for the Center for Safe and Secure Schools at Harris County Department of Education. We support the Safe Schools Commission being a permanent standing commission. The Center for Safe and Secure Schools was established in 1999 at the request of Harris County school superintendents in response to Columbine shooting. It was created to advance safe and secure environments for learning and teaching. Now, 25 years later from our creation, the need has grown and evolved. The Center for Safe and Secure Schools is a full-time department providing campus safety audits, trainings, and staff professional development across the region. The Safe Schools Commission is an added layer of brain power and resources to help the Harris County School District navigate these concerns. The Harris County Department of Education looks forward to the continued partnership with the Safe Schools Commission. Commissioners, thank you for all your efforts towards safety for our schools, and Commissioner Briones, thank you for reconvening the commission. Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership, Ms. Etheridge.
Commissioners?
Hold on, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How many times did you have to practice that to do it under 1 minute? That's impossible.
Only about 3 or 4 times. But yeah, I was like trying to rush because they said 60 seconds. I was like, oh boy. Okay, so yeah. So I cut out a lot of stuff, but I got it done. Commissioners Court approved the recommendation. As a result, the Center for Safe and Secure Schools is now an ex officio member of the board. When it comes to school safety and emergencies, you can never have too many resources. When individuals think about school emergencies, an active shooter is usually the first thought. While that is a main safety concern, there are also many other emergencies that could and have occurred. So it's important to test these emergency protocols as much as possible. Earlier this year, we partnered with Goose Creek to conduct a countywide multi-hazardous functional exercise. While this training was focused on a train derailment, the steps taken could be utilized for any rail emergency.
Teachers, staff, and students need to shelter in place for hazmat at this time.
In Goose Creek, there are a lot of trains, and we thought this would be a great exercise to evaluate their processes and their procedures when it came to train derailments.
Have we been advised what the derailment is or what the containment is?
We've been planning for 7 months now, and so we've been meeting as a planning team to come up with the most realistic and possible scenario that would give every element of the phase.
Any children in here?
Today was a train derailment, so that activated a shelter in place for hazmat in the school, and then in turn a relocation of that campus to another school, and then a reunification of students and parents.
So between the Baytown Fire Department, Baytown OEM, Office of Emergency Management, Goose Creek, HCDE, we came up with a scenario together. And then from there, we started to determine what were critical tasks that had to be done. And then from there, we start what are things that could happen.
And all units on scene at Carver, be advised, Baytown Fire said the air quality is good enough to begin evacuation.
So we do these trainings because you can never quite fully prepare for any emergency. So muscle memory is important. So the more you prepare, the more you train, the better your outcomes are when in the event that there is an actual emergency.
You know, we say in different ICS trainings that, you know, you don't want to meet different county officials and different agencies at 2 in the morning when an incident happens, right? You want to have that relationship established with them ahead of time. So this is a great way to do that.
Overall, very pleased because there were a lot of lessons learned. A lot of things that people just thought were going to happen automatically just didn't happen. And then everybody's like, oh, that didn't happen automatically. So what do we need to do there? But I think it went well.
And I want to thank you, the comms team, for that presentation. Although the majority of our presentations are conducted for our external partners, we also provide training for our internal partners. Recently, we conducted emergency preparedness in the workplace presentation for HCDE employees. We conduct this training annually for all employees because emergencies can occur anywhere. This workshop provides participants with the knowledge needed for emergency situations and the tools to respond to create a safe environment. After each service, we ask participants to complete a client satisfaction survey. Last year's survey revealed a 98.4% overall satisfaction rating from both our internal and external clients. We also observe school trends, threats, and emergencies to identify challenges and create a response. 3 of the biggest trends recently identified are, first, the shortage in teachers and administrators. The challenge is the volume of uncertified teachers. The response is an administrative academy, which focuses on mandated safety trainings for school administrators. Second is the increase in students arrested for threats. The challenge is the lack of funding for trainings and a reactive response to a threat. No school wants to be on the news for not taking a threat seriously, so therefore all threats are often reported. The response is a behavioral threat training and operationalized procedures. Third is the increase in school mandates, which the challenge is also a lack of funding. The response is the DOJ grant we recently received to provide needed services to our partnerships. The DOJ grant we recently received to provide needed services and our partnership with the Safe Schools Commission. Our partnership allows us to advise the Commission on the various safety challenges the schools encounter, which in turn provides them with the essential information they need to lobby for the schools. As I stand before you today, we remain steadfast on progressing towards our goals. These goals include increasing visibility on a local, state, and a national level. I'm happy to report that last month my team presented at the National Association of Black School Educators Conference held in Atlanta, and the presentation was a holistic approach to safety, supplying training and services for all educators, building, maintaining, and sustaining client relationships. Oh, I went too fast. And deliver strong internal support for HCDE schools. Before I end, I just want to acknowledge that this is the 25th anniversary for the Center for Safe and Secure Schools. With the help of my HCDE marketing team, we will be celebrating this milestone all year with our commemorative branding. Thank you for your time. This concludes my report for the Center for Safe and Secure Schools. What questions do you have for me?
I would just like to say kudos to you and your team. You know, we oftentimes think of safe and secure schools as just responding to acts of violence from students, but it's really bigger than that. In Houston's quite unique because sometimes the response could be to weather. And, you know, nothing's scarier and more unpredictable than a storm headed right to your building, and what do? But, you know, I never thought about it until you were doing your presentation, but Houston also has another unique component besides weather, and that's chemical spills. You know, you get to some school districts, that's a very real thing, and that's something that they need to be very conscious of. And so our Safe and Secure Schools Division has had to evolve over years to the ever-changing landscape of public education and trying to stay in front of that, and they've done a really good job of doing that. So much so that the school districts seek them out to certify that they're implementing best practices and certainly want to learn all the new practices. So kudos to you and your team, and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Thank you very much.
Thank you, and happy holidays to everyone.
Holidays. And with that, we will move on to an update from Case for Kids.
So at your seats, you will find presents from the kids in our after-school programs. You have a holiday ornament and a note from one of our families. And this one, these are yours, Danielle. Thank you. All right. You also have our holiday card. Woo! Thanks to Kiera Hurst. So I am Lisa Carruthers, the Senior Director for Case for Kids. I put my creds on there this year. I've been here since 2001, and over the years I have got named most influential in the state and local government by the National After School Association, and that was for the work we did with the City of Houston when we got the City of Houston to invest in after school. And a few other things. I got to do the ALF and a White Wally Peterson Fellowship, so that is who formed 21st Century, the federal funds that is the Cadillac of after school. So we are a large group. We have, along with me, I have 2 assistant directors, 3 project managers, 5 administrative assistants, 22 coordinators, 2 clerks, and depending on the day, 30 to 40 part-timers. Together, we served 17,000 last year, over 17,000 kids last year, 1,800 adults, and worked with over 150 community partners. This year, we are on target to meet our numbers. We start with our comprehensive after-school program, so I'll ask if you are one of the staff working with comprehensive after-school, please stand. So we have two primary funding streams that support Monday through Friday after-school care. The first is your HCDE investment in the partnership projects. You guys this year are funding 17 programs that are scheduled this year will serve over 1,000 students. Through our federal funds, the 21st Century Community Learning Centers, we have two cycles. We have Cycle 11, which supports 9 programs, and Cycle 12, which has 10. These are on target to serve over 2,300 students. Here is the map, and inside your packet, you will also have the maps together and by separate projects, 21st Century and Partnership, inside your handouts as well. But these are just dots. And so I asked the team to share some photos that represent their happiest moments through the year. So we have over at Clear Creek, we have a cosmetology club. We've got violin over there. We have Fraser Elementary in Pasadena celebrating our Lights On Advocacy Day. We've got driver's education at Chavez High, culinary arts, Chavez High, podcasting over in Clear Creek, Sanchez North, got to hang out with the ASBCA. They also got involved in civic engagement. We work very closely with many of our sites this year with our civic engagement team and the Houston Endowment Funds to get our kids involved. And Baker Ripley, here they are, saying that committing to vote when they get older. Chavez hosting Thanksgiving dinner, and we also have a lot of family engagement activities. Here we have Lights On opening their doors at Miller Intermediate for their families. We just did a Kids Day Entrepreneurship where kids got to make and sell their wares, which brings us to a different division. So if you are on our quality support team, please stand up. Our quality support team does primarily professional development and resource allocation for bringing high-quality curriculum and materials to the programs. This year, we did 56 training sessions delivered through workshops, symposium, and a fabulous conference. I'll talk more in a minute. We also presented at the state and national conferences, and we have a few folks here that not only have been selected to present at NAW this upcoming year, but we have 2 that will serve as part of their keynotes as they do these TED Talks, and so they're going to do a duet TED Talk, so that'll be fun. We have learning labs where we send vendors out to the community to train professionals inside the actual sites with hands-on learning with the kids, directly with the youth. And our Smart Zone, this supports 54 sites with over $50,000 worth of curricula and materials that we loaned out. We also are hosting a lot of events so people can come in and play with the stuff that is in the library. We also work with United Way to coach and provide training in a national model to support after-school 12 community partners in the after-school field. We have 4, so part of we partner with the community so to leverage federal dollars that make all this possible. So those partners right now are Harris County Public Libraries, Harris County Precinct 1, Boys and Girls Club of Greater Houston, and Boys and Girls Club of Brazoria County. When we document the after-school money, it leverages the federal funds that come down to make all that quality team and other things we do possible. Our special initiatives, the All Earth EcoBot Challenge. This year's theme is history. Oh, this one's, y'all, I don't know. I'm not to blame for this. History of ordering and delivery. Robots making our world faster, smarter, and greener. It's a little long. But it launches in January, and we will have our culminating EcoBot Challenge Day on April 26, 2025. Last year, we served 285 kids and 45 teachers. Our case debate is going strong. This year, we're going to exceed our numbers already. Last year, we did 357. We're doing more this year. We have 20 schools involved and 6 tournaments. Level Up Houston is our college and career readiness efforts. We have an expo coming up in March It'll be our second annual expo. We'll be down at U of H downtown and doing hands-on activities. You see these kids are learning actually hands-on touching things that relate to careers and college readiness. And we're also badge some of our community partners for their commitment. We also did a few other collaborative efforts, the Green Heart STEM Challenge through the Education Foundation of Harris County. And then we will be working with Summer Learning Week this summer. And this year's Kids Days, or the Kids Day Entrepreneurship that we just had, it was everybody went Christmas shopping. It was super fun. And in the summer, we'll be doing Kids Day Healthy Living. It's very much like Iron Chef. So please come out when you get your invitation and eat and sample some of the kids' food. Okay. She's over those programs, and she laughed. All right. If you are on this, did I miss anybody on the special team? Yes, stand up. This is our new, just did the market day for her first event. So it was a very large scale event. And our resource management, this is where we give out our funds. Our team there, stand up. So this is the partner with this partnership with the city and the county, right? We leverage funds. The city is from their tax base, and they gave out 96 grant awards totaling $663,000 to support 8,985 students this year. And County Connections is to be determined because it's in the summer. But last year they gave out 93 awards for a total of $1.4 million. So a little bit larger, but it's federal money that goes through the county. And events. So we also had a great conference. So again, I said I was going to talk about the conference. And one of our opening speakers, as you see her here, was our lovely trustee Duhan. We appreciate it. We did a panel talk about the importance of investing in kids and the return on investment as we help them grow and why that is important. We had over 250 participants. We had 30 trainers. Some of the trainers were our very own. We had trainers from multiple divisions inside HCDE. You'll recognize a lot of those folks, as well as community partners. We had 30 service providers that came and shared their wares, hoping to get hired by our visitors. And then we had 3 mini TED Talks as well at our event. That map, Mr. Colbert, you love the map in our office. We brought it to the conference. We asked everybody else to put their dots on the map too, and we numbered them so that people could find who they were close to and maybe reach out and build some networks. We also, as one of the performers, that young man in the green, he placed 5th in the Olympics breakdancing. So we were very happy to have him join us at the conference. That was a special event. We also had 2 students that won the National Lights On After School Poster Contest. They came out to the conference. So these young ladies from Crespo Elementary and Houston ISD were selected by our national organization for the National October, I forgot the actual date, but fourth Thursday in October, Advocacy Day. And your employee of the year, one of the employees of the months from last year, Mr. Melvin Mead, did exceptional on Lights On. He had a superintendent visit and she brought 2 board members. He got a proclamation from the city of Kemah and a proclamation from Clear Creek. So he really got out there in the community again. You don't get to get put up again, Melvin. You only get put up once. So our opportunities and challenges, we're really wanting to build out workforce and college and career readiness. This is an important space, especially we believe at the national level that how funds, we need to make sure we're being part of that continuum to get kids ready to work. We are micro-credentialing OST staff. We worked with our grants department to write a few grants to support that work. Our community interest in case and brokering Community collaborations and partnerships was we did a needs assessment. We had over 100 folks fill out a needs assessment, and 60 of them joined us for a strategic session. And one of the biggest thing is to continue to network them and form partnerships on their behalf was one of the largest areas of interest. Our challenges are our federal 21st century funds on our cycle 11 grant for the 9 sites. They will be ending in fiscal year 26, as well as that 1.4 million that the county invested in summer will also end in 26. So we're looking at a fiscal cliff. We'll be writing a cycle 13, so that is good. It's a competitive process, but we will be writing that. And we are talking to the county commissioners about what can they transition it into their tax base or not. So we are actually meeting with them one at a time, and we'll be talking about is there a possibilities for sustaining that work. And all this is important because what happens between school and home matters. And your questions.
There we go. Hi, Dr. Carruthers.
Hello.
How are you doing? I just want to say that I am of the opinion that after-school programs do more for the well-being and determination for growth for these students than some of their core curriculum classes could. And it is incredibly important that we're able to continue investing and further investing in these programs. And I'd like to know from you, could you tell me a little bit more about the difference between the partnership program and the 21st century and how we could invest further with partnership?
So Partnership Project started in 1999. It was our first investment. And it started off as a little bit of money from the county and a little money from HCDE. And we provided grant awards to school districts to run Monday through Friday after school programs. That money is then certified through our HGAT contract, which leverages us federal funds that then pay for all that augmentive professional development and quality enhancement that we do. The county did back out, but HCD has continued to invest. And actually, you guys covered the county backing out back in the day. And so you guys are investing a little over $500,000 in that space. The 21st century money is a grant that we write. So we actually ask the school districts to apply with us in collaboration. So then we go in and write through with our grants department a competitive process. You're limited to 10 sites per application, and it is federal money that runs through the state, and it's a 5-year grant.
So we're investing about $500,000 per year is what you just told us, correct?
Through Partnership Project, through the comprehensive after-school portfolio.
And
you do invest in other spaces around debate and EcoBot and et cetera.
So if we were to increase our investment in that, would there be a capacity for growth for the students? Would we be able to find the utilization? Would they appreciate the resources the way we would need them to? Can you talk to me about that?
So right now we supported 17 schools this year, and that is the lowest number we've ever supported, in part because of the HISD situation. We anticipate now that there's been 2 cycles of a new superintendent that HISD might be coming back to the table for after-school funding. But they had historically been our largest grant recipient of partnership, and they are now, I believe, at 2, maybe 3 sites now. So there's definitely a space in HISD as well as some other districts, especially as this ESSER rescue money has gone away. The districts are now refiguring out what they're going to do and how they're going to do after school. Schools like A-Leaf, they have after-school programs. They try to have after-school programs at every single elementary.
Wow.
And they've had a few that haven't been able to stand up after ESSER's exit.
So what I'm hearing, it sounds to me like it's possible we need to be anticipatory in our budgeting to be able to invest more into these programs, knowing that in the very near future, there's going to be a big need for it coming up. Is that correct?
I always say that.
All right. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say about that? I think that it would be very nice for us to look deeply into investing further in after-school programs. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Madam President. Dr. Carruthers, outstanding job. Thank you, your entire team. Along those lines, you mentioned the county and you mentioned the funding cliff, so my ears kind of perked up there. So is that a possibility for us in terms of bridging?
So that there's sort of different ways we do things, right? So Partnership Project and 21st Century are comprehensive Monday through Friday after school care, right? Parents have to go to work and they need safe places for their kiddos. And that is elementary because I certify 1.5 million in elementary dollars to leverage 1.7 in federal. So that has to be elementary. County is project money. So it can go to a nonprofit that is working with a school district. It's granted out, so you might do a summer camp. You might do augmenting some, and right now county is summer only. So you might work with the district. Districts tend to have after-school programs for 3 weeks, so you might take those kids the rest of the summer. They tend to be done by nonprofits, like we have nonprofits that do robotics, we have etiquette programs. We also work with academic and tutorials, programs that do all. It's really a wide array of what is delivered during that space. So that it's going to be a huge hurt for, it's $1.4 million.
Right, so does the county funds allow us to leverage us to draw down additional federal dollars?
Those fundings do not.
They don't. So have you had preliminary discussions with the county?
We are in the process. We are meeting with each of the commissioner's office, and we will continue to do so. And so, you guys come to the check signings. That's a very important time where you guys get to connect with the commissioners, which I appreciate you guys coming out to that. That really helps. And then, I can, as we meet and we hear the plans, now, I can be a dreamer. I'm sorry, Mr. Colbert, but Austin County just passed a tax to support after-school and early childhood through a voter referendum. I don't know if the county's willing to go there. Probably not. But anyway, we are talking to them.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Carruthers. Thank you, Madam President.
I'd just like to say how much I appreciate our case department. So CASE has kind of been our flanking move, and they're probably one of the most agile divisions that we have. There's been a couple times where I've gone to them, seeking them to fill a void that has been created, and they can do it seamlessly within minutes. EcoBots is a great example of that. Case debates where they took it and knocked it out the park. And so they do the thing that I appreciate so much, and every time I get opportunity, I like to tell the story, like what do you do for the kid that doesn't play football or is not in band? Like what is that person doing after school? And so I think that this is like a significant blind spot in all of public education, and the benefits have been tremendous. And a lot of that's a testament to the quality of your staff and their ability to execute and put in programs in there that are intrinsically desired to try to look after the well-being of children. So for that, I appreciate you and your staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we will move on to other reports from board members concerning attendance or participation in a board or HCDE-related conference, event, activity, or committee, or accolades for an HCDE staff member or other deserving position. And I would like to start by taking note of the fact that today is my and Trustee Duhan's anniversary of when we took our oath to serve on Harris County Department of Education half a decade ago. Our first oath. We took a second oath after that, but the very first time when we, half a day, and I that's how Sarah put it. I said, it's been 5 years, and she said, it's been half a decade. I said, I like that. It's been half a decade. So I just wanted to take note of that and tell you how honored. There's really no words. I love serving here. It's a wonderful place to serve with amazing people, and it's just a feel-good place. I mean, it's just great to come and serve in a place where we get to help people every day. So with that, Trustee Duhan, would you like to say anything on your anniversary?
Well, I didn't bring any notes, but I'll just echo what you're saying in that it is amazing to know that I can come in and support a staff and administration who are putting in effort on a daily basis to help people in a way that you could not see just anywhere. This is a real unicorn, as we like to put it. And it is, once again, like you said, such an honor to be able to come in and check the box yes for what you guys are doing. Thank you so much.
And then just one more thing on a personal note. Today is my husband's birthday, so I took the oath on his birthday, and I do want to mention him because in all that we do, every single one of us has people in our lives that support us, and we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do without the people in our lives that support us. And my husband and my two boys, who are 19 and 17, are amazing champions for me. They are my huge cheerleaders, and I love them very much, and I'm blessed to have them. So, anything else from any members? Okay, so with that, we will move on to monthly financial reports. Dr. Mesqua? Oh, I skipped over report of board committee. Anybody have board committees, any chairs, or any reports from the committees? Okay, Dr. Mesqua?
Okay, the first report is financial highlights as of November 30th. All our information is posted on our website, and the balance sheet as of, take this off. As of November the 30th, we have assets of $32,335,125 and liabilities of $3,232,496 and equity of $29,102,629. So for the first 3 months, September, October, and November, we have more expenses than revenues, and so we use our fund balance to the tune of $6,641,000, primarily because we don't get the taxes during those months. We get them until January. So that's where the fund balance helps us to make sure that we have enough cash flow for the organization. So we have $29,102,629, and you will see the final report in January, how we ended up the year for August 31st. Our indicators of financial information is, the first is percentage of fund balance to general fund. We're at 173 versus 138 the same time last year. Working capital ratio, cash flow, we're almost the same, 29 million versus 23 million, a little bit more in cash at this time. Unassigned fund balance ratio, we're 93% versus 86% at the same time last year. Debt to income ratio, we don't make the payments for our principal and interest until February and August, so these two are going to remain at 0 until February and August. Fee for service ratio, we're at 23% versus 41% at the same time. And our growth ratio is minus 45%. We still need to bill some of our contracts, and so that's gonna even out as we start in December and January. No budget amendments so far for the year. We'll have some later on in the presentation. Our inflows or revenues, we're at 12% so far versus 14% overall. Again, 25% of the year has lapsed, and our taxes really, again, come in until January, so that's when you're going to see that number increase. Our expenditures or outflows, again, we're on target at 25%. So overall, budget to actual, we're at 28% versus, and primarily because of the special revenue funds that are grants that we have to spend the money first and get reimbursed the following month. Our cash and in-kind donations are $87,361. And primarily this month were Head Start, Case for Kids, and Schools Division that we had some donations. Again, a lot of Case for Kids and schools donations that were received. Our projection for our values were 665 billion at the beginning of the year, so we're at 659. So we have just about 5.5 left over to certify between now and the end of the year. So year to date, again, we haven't received any taxes, so we'll start doing that in the month of January. And again, no payments to the tax office and appraisal district just yet. So we will see that activity happen here and starting in next month. Again, this is the same thing as last year, so do not be worried about this number because it's basically the same as last year because of where the taxes come in. Our disbursements for the month of November were 4,773,126. 391 disbursements, 675 transactions, and 6 transfers. And then our segment information of key budget managers, we have the Center for Educational Success, benefit variance of $434,086. Records management, $327,490. Therapy, $2,466,999. And our schools at $2,746,927. A lot of the tax money, as that comes in, that will even out during the year. However, Choice Partners continues on a benefit ratio of 473%. Expenditures were $685, and transfer to general funds so far are $3,239,883 for the first 3 months of the year. 3 budget amendments. One is to increase revenues for the benefits as a result of the grant from Prairie View Grant, Fund 255, $41,000. And then grant for Head Start, we needed to move it from 205 to 204 for Head Start so that we can close out the Head Start grant that ends up here in December 31st. In terms of our foundation, we have net equity of $274,614. And the detail, we have included all the different additions and uses for the program. And I believe there's an agenda item for this year's allotment that will augment this and this number as well. In terms of our lease projects, we worked with a small business program. I had mentioned that we were going to have a small business program summary for this month. And so we started with a new software that basically looks at certifying all our expenses and checking the vendors to see where they're certified. So the certifications of that we look for is one, disadvantaged business enterprise, DBE, minority business enterprise, MBE, small business enterprise, SBE, and then women business enterprise, WBE. So the certifying agencies that we look to are City of Houston, Houston Metro Transit Authority, Port of Houston, South Central Texas Regional Certification Agency. They certify vendors that they have met the requirements to be a minority business enterprise or a small business enterprise. So the results are that when we look at the information, we had $40 million in expenditures. Out of those $40 million, we have $32,770,010 that includes payments to businesses. We took out the payments to government and utilities, because those are not qualifying. And so when we compare that, we take the amount of the small business divided by the total all businesses, and that's an 8% ratio, small to large. When you include the government, it's actually only 7%. So we have 19% government, non-small 29 million. Again, it's only because you take away the government and utilities that you get a little bit higher ratio. So which agency certified? Primarily the City of Houston, Houston Metropolitan Transit Authority, Port of Houston, and then also South Central Region certification. That's the breakdown by agency. The type, we have DBE at 1%, MBE 49%, women business enterprise 16%, small business 34%, and so that makes up the 2,683,850. When we break it down, and this data we did not have before, because that's now how we contract with this company to give us and certify this information, and it breaks it down now by ethnicity. So we have 20% Asian, 29% Black, 21% Caucasian, and 29% Hispanic. That's the breakdown, among all those categories. And the detail is behind in the presentation, the different companies and how they're identified. Again, we don't identify them. We go to that service and they identify them on our behalf, and then we report them to you. Any questions on this part of the small business program before I continue with the report? Because I know that there was one report that the board wanted to see.
Just thank you for going to that level of detail. And there could still be some small businesses, but they just aren't certified with those entities?
Yes, okay. Yes. There's a lot of small business that they're just not identified in themselves as that.
Thank you.
Our PFC amount is $2,950,548. The majority is the retainage that is spending. Maintenance notes, $74,795. The retainage that we have pending is $1,256,811. And then this is the 2024 maintenance notes. We have $13,300,790, retainage of $177,573 so far. And then all our, again, the only thing that is spending is the retainage, so you see the percentages of the different projects, 100% or, because we already recorded the expense, we're just waiting for the payment of the retainage payable. The Irvington renovation, again, the contractual commitments that we have, $5,086,641, and then we still have some funds for other projects available for that will come in after the Irvington renovation. That's the report for the month of November. What questions do you have? Thank you. The next report is investment report. The Federal Reserve did meet today, and I will cover that in a few minutes. Again, all our information is posted on our website. Our investment policy is certified by GTOT. And the Fed funds rate was reduced again by 25 basis points just earlier today. That's a signal that, again, the Fed will probably not continue to reduce, or they'll slow down in the reduction here going forward. But they started with 50 basis points, and then they cut it 25 basis, and then just today another 25 basis points. Our portfolio as of November, we have $48,411,388, and PFC 336,193. Lone Star 46%, Chase 9%, Investment Pool 17%, and 4% Start, and Text Pool 24%. So those are the two sodas that we mentioned. One was I think was Mr. Pibb that we talked about during our presentation, and then the other one was the Sprite, if you'll remember that. Yes. Difference from a year ago, 7,977,457, or a 20% increase in our portfolio from a year ago. All our investments are overnight in our investment pool, and we have earned so far $637,971, and in the PFC, $3,951. We're earning 4.61, and this is the history of all those. And so you will see this in December in the number about probably 4.24 and a quarter. That's what we'll probably be looking at here in the next few months. And these were available last week. So these volumes are probably going to continue to go down by 25 basis points as we move forward. That's our investment report for the month of November. What questions do you have?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Dr. Mescal. Outstanding report, and you and your team. Just about with the feds reducing interest rates, did we anticipate, well, have we projected sufficiently with respect to the reduction? Did we anticipate that occurring?
Yes, it's been anticipated. At some point in time, we're gonna lengthen our investments to the 120 to 360 days and break down the portfolio, because now before the rates were climbing, and now they're going to start declining, and in terms of short-term rates, and so we need to take a defensive posture by extending a little bit of some of our funds and being able to take advantage of that.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you. Oh, just a reminder, I do have some confirmations that at the end of the meeting, I'm going to give to you for our first report coming up in January.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to our action items, our consensus action items. Does anyone have any items to pull?
C1.
Okay. Anything else? All right, so we will pull item C1. All right, and with that, we will move to, or do I have a motion to approve the balance of the consensus items? Motion by Trustee McGee, seconded by Trustee Dick. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. All right, so with that, we'll move on to action item C1. Do I have a motion? Oh, wait, let me read it. Consider ratification of stop federal grant from the Office of Justice Programs, Bureau of Justice Assistance in the amount of $930,947 for the period of 10/01/24 through 9/30/27. Do I have a motion? Motion by Trustee McGee. Seconded by Trustee Cantu. Motion by Trustee Cantu, seconded by Trustee McGee.
There you go.
Discussion?
So that's a grant that we applied for to help with the behavioral threat assessments, which a lot of the school districts weren't able to afford. So we applied for a grant through the DOJ in order to provide those services for several school districts.
Thank you for that. Can you describe what a behavior threat
So the behavioral threat assessment consists of, once there is a student that's been identified with some type of whether it's a physical threat, self-harm, or things like that, there's certain processes and mandates that the TEA requires that school districts apply to basically see what the cause of the problem is. And a lot of the schools don't have the resources to have a comprehensive training or teams in order to assess those threats. But this is one of those unfunded mandates where they mandate they have teams set up to do behavioral threat assessments, but they don't give a whole lot of information on what they should do afterwards. So we've come up with a operationalized procedure where it can be comprehensive throughout all the districts, because each district does something different. The way because there's no mandate on how to do the behavioral threat assessments. It's just telling them they have to do it. So we're trying to operationalize it so each school district will be kind of run the same way.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to our non-consensus action items. So we begin with item 7.1, consider approval of the services agreement for information technology services and CDW-G for the period of 2/01/25 through 01/31/26 in the amount of $275,925 to renew the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement and Azure Cloud Commitment Prepayment. Do I have a motion? Motion by Trustee Cantu, seconded by Trustee Dick. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. 7.2, consider ratification of change order number 1 to the AIA contract with Geofill Construction, Inc. to extend substantial completion date to 11/19/24 for the construction of a new Head Start Center located at 767 Coolwood Drive, Houston, Texas 77013, and delegate authority to the superintendent or his designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute the change order. Do I have a motion? Motion by Trustee Cantu, seconded by Trustee Dick. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval, this is 7.3, consider approval of change order number 2 with Geofill Material Technologies DBA Geofill Construction to increase scope of work to install a natural gas standby generator and gate operators in the amount of $1,313,687 and delegate authority to the superintendent or his designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute the change order. Do I have a motion? Motion by Trustee McGee, seconded by Trustee Cantu. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. 7.4, consider approval of the project delivery method of job order contracting and the job order contract with Dependable Comfort Air Conditioning and Heating, Inc. for HVAC equipment and installation for the Records Management Division HVAC project in an amount not to exceed $399,838 and delegate authority to HCDE superintendent or his designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute the job order contract. Do I have a motion? Motion by Trustee Cantu, seconded by Trustee Dick. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. 7.5, consider approval of services agreement with Equal Level UNA Solutions for the period of 1/13/25 through 1/12/26 in the amount of $97,050 for the purchase of software and installation services for the new purchasing platform for HCDE procurement services and Choice Partners Division. Do I have a motion? Motion by Trustee Cantu, seconded by Trustee Dick. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. 7.6, consider ratification of memorandum of understanding between HCDE and the Education Foundation of Harris County for the Partners in Education project, providing $200,000 for grants, scholarships, and sponsorship activities, the Tools for Teachers program for the purchase of supplies for teachers, and other foundation activities for the term of September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion? Motion by Trustee Duhan, seconded by Trustee Cantu. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. And with that, we will move into executive session under the Texas Government Code pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by Section 551.001-551.084, including but not limited to 551.071 and 551.074. We move to executive session at 2:16 p.m.
and the thousands of students it serves.
Any discussion?
Yes, Madam President. Yes, Madam President. I acknowledge that my actions may have led to negative publicity of HCDE, reputational harm, embarrassment for the department and its Board of Trustees, and expenditure of HCDE resources. I agree, in an effort to for this, I agree to make a $40,000 contribution to the Educational Foundation of Harris County Department of Education to be used for case debates program for future lawyers no later than February 28, 2025.
Thank you, Trustee Dick. Any other discussion? Seeing none, put it to a vote. All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. All right, next item, any discussion and possible action regarding future agenda items? Seeing none, then do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Motion by Trustee Duhan, seconded by Trustee McGee. Any discussion? Seeing none, put it to a vote. 6-0, it passes. Meeting adjourned at 3:30 p.m.